All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about one of the best teams in the National Football League, let alone the AFC, one of the hottest teams as well, and that is the 5-straight-win Jacksonville Jaguars. They are now 6-2. This is actually the best start they've had since the 90s to start a season. They're heading into their bye week, and here's the thing, Trevor Lawrence is playing good football. The Jaguars are playing good football, but this is genuinely just the tip of the iceberg. This team is learning how to win. We saw it after their 2-6 start last season, finishing 9-8, and we're seeing it right now. This team, I'm telling you, man, they have yet to hit the tip of the iceberg. This offense especially can be a lot more loaded than they have been this season, but nonetheless, man, they're a top 10 offense right now. They're a top 10 defense. They're literally 6-2. I mean, they're not one of the best teams in the AFC. They're genuinely one of the best teams in the National Football League. And this is something we really talked about in that Saints game where, Doug Peterson himself has said it numerous times this season, just kind of trying to learn how to win, trying to get comfortable with ugly-esque wins like they had this afternoon. Now, keep in mind, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, first off, here's a crazy statistic. I know the Steelers aren't having a good season. The Jaguars did not allow Pittsburgh's offense to have a first down until all the way in the second freaking quarter. It took them one whole quarter to get a first down. I mean, at halftime, it was 9-3. And like I said, it's 20-10 victory. Pittsburgh's got an elite level defense. This was not a pretty sexy blowout victory, but it's going to do. Trevor Lawrence is not 100%. This team is starting to ramp it up as we've seen with 5 straight wins. So before we get into tonight's video, guys, if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Jags fans, if we could try and get this video to 200 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. We're pumping out Jaguars content at least twice a week right now. This bye week, to me, especially with Trevor Lawrence, is huge. And we actually talked a little bit about this early on in the week where we're saying, either way, look, man, if Jacksonville is 6-2 heading into the bye week, if they take down Pittsburgh on the road, I mean, you should fear them. You should respect them in general. But guys, I mean, 6-2, I seriously can't emphasize it enough. And I imagine if you're a Jaguars fan watching this video right now, you agree with me. I mean, Trevor Lawrence today did well. He did very well. He did good, actually. 24-32, 292 yards. He had a touchdown. He had a weird interception. They're just getting started. I mean, they're genuinely just getting started. They're putting up 24 points per game. They're giving up less than 20 points per game. We saw last season after starting 2-6, finishing 9-8, the way the first playoff game went against the Chargers, and then they kept it close with Kansas City. I mean, this team's arrived. They have simply arrived. I'm very curious. We got 36-ish hours at the time of this recording until trade deadline. I'm very curious to see if Jacksonville does anything. But this offense, man, they're just getting things going. But this afternoon against Pittsburgh, TJ Watt, I mean, they were all over it. Jacksonville certainly was sloppy at various points in this game, 100%. But hey, man, a win is a win in the National Football League. They dominated the time of possession 34 minutes to just 25. They had 20 first downs, 6 of 13 in third down efficiency. And then once again, against one of the best defenses in the National Football League, they put up almost 400 yards with 377 total yards. I love it, man. I love this team on paper, and I love it with the eye test. Travis Etienne, the dude's been an absolute beast. 24 carries, 79 yards, only averaged 3.3 yards per rush. But, man, that Steelers defense, seriously, for the 18th time in tonight's video, that Steelers defense is insane, man. No matter how their offense looks on a week-to-week basis, I mean, Pittsburgh's 4-3 for a reason. That defense can single-handedly win them football games, especially on the road. You cannot discredit, you cannot discount a road victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. No matter how their offense is looking, no matter your thoughts on Kenny Pickett, no matter your thoughts on Matt Canada, we've seen it against the Cleveland Browns. That defense will genuinely win you football games. But Travis Etienne made his big-ass impact on a long touchdown, 56-yard receiving touchdown. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. He finished the day with 3 catches for 70 yards in that touchdown. Evan Ingram, I mean, he had that 34-yard catch, and I know we say this anytime we mention Evan Ingram on this channel. The dude is not a tight end. I mean, the dude, or what I mean is he does not look like a tight end. The athletic build that he has, the dude looks like, I mean, I don't want to compare him to Kelvin Johnson because he's not Kelvin, he's not Megatron, but like that's kind of the vibe I get. This dude is a freak of nature. I'm so glad he's back in a Jaguars uniform and he made his impact so far this season. He still has yet to have his first touchdown on the year, but that is certainly going to come. Evan Ingram today, 10 catches, 88 yards. Calvin Ridley got things going, and we've talked a lot about Calvin Ridley as the season's progressed. That blunder against the New Orleans Saints. He's had some issues with timing. He's had some issues with drops. These are things to be expected because, first off, he has not played football in a very long time. I know we're 8 games into the season right now, so that narrative is kind of coming to a close because we saw it today, 6 catches for 83 yards. But we saw a flash of it, and he's had a solid season. I would say Calvin Ridley has had a solid season, but we really saw it, at this point, like a month ago in their Buffalo Bills victory, which also doesn't really get talked about too much. This Jacksonville team, I know we say in every Jaguars video we make, they're very under the radar. They're very undercovered, and I live here in Florida. I'm more of the Tampa side, so I get mostly Buccaneers or Miami Dolphins content. So maybe I'm being mistaken, but on the radio, on national TV, think like Undisputed, et cetera, I don't see the Jaguars being covered all that much. Maybe this afternoon's victory is going to change people's perception of them. But man, you've got Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, and Christian Kirk as your weapons. Once Zay Jones comes back, I know Zay Jones, you could look at the box scores, you could look at statistics and be like, if you're not a Jaguars fan, it's kind of hard to understand or appreciate the impact of Zay Jones. But he's going to be coming back healthy after this bye week, hopefully. So, they're loaded. They're just genuinely loaded offensively. And then we go to the defense. They were above average statistical defense. However, they dealt with a bunch of issues, particularly passing yards last season. They're holding up really nicely. You don't win 5 straight football games by mistake. You don't win 5 straight football games without an improvement from the defensive side. We saw 2 interceptions today. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, kind of like a weird, injury quarterback game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but nonetheless, Jacksonville took advantage. The year's 2023, folks. I don't care who's quarterback. I don't care who's offensive coordinator. You gave up 10 points. That's impressive in and of itself. Foye Oluokun continues to impress. The dude is just so underrated as a linebacker in this league. He had almost 200 tackles in his final year with Atlanta. He comes on over to Jacksonville. He has almost 200 tackles as well. We saw the pick 6 last Thursday night against the New Orleans Saints. He follows that up this afternoon with 11 total tackles, a forced fumble. We saw Devin Lloyd, the rookie from last season. The dude's had a huge impact on this team in year 2. He finished the night with 9 tackles. Josh Allen, the legend himself, with 2 sacks today to put his total on the season. Josh Allen, guys, has 9 sacks in 8 games. So we were talking about the trade deadline, and I know we mentioned this a little bit more in our last Jaguars video. I'm very curious if they were to go out there and acquire a Brian Burns or go out there and acquire a Danielle Hunter. I'm very curious to see if this team goes out and tries to get another edge rusher or just a guy who's going to hit that QB at least around double digits every single season. So you're sitting at 6-2 heading into your bye week. As this week progresses, we'll continue to break down the film and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Jags fans, give me a team grade on your team pretty much halfway through the season down below.